Good afternoon, students. So today we are going to start new topic, okay, which is Biot-Savart's law. Okay, Biot-Savart's law. This law is very important. Okay, like you had calculated Coulomb's law. The importance of Coulomb's law, in electrostatics. Okay, same as this. Okay, magnetic field. There you calculated electric field. Okay, using the concept of Coulomb's law, where you multiplied the force with the charge. You divided the force with the charge and you got the value of electric field. Okay, so that electric field what you calculated over there due to a charged body. Okay, here we are going to calculate due to a current carrying conductor. Okay, so Biot-Savart's law is basically a law which tells us, which gives us the value of magnetic field at any point due to a current carrying conductor. Is it okay? Yes. Fine. Now, so we have to start this Biot-Savart's law. So there are certain things that you have to understand. Okay. So today's lecture is very important. Okay. Yesterday's lecture already I told you there was little bit of theory, was not much of concept. Today's lecture it will be little mathematics also involved. Okay, because we are going to prove our results, and so you have to be very careful because one question is for sure. One question in NEET, one question in JEE, and one question in board. Okay, numerical question is sure from this topic Biot-Savart's law. Okay, so you have to be very careful with the law and its results. Okay, now see here, what does this law says? That this law actually gives me this law. Already I told you that this law gives me the value of magnetic field. This law gives me the value of magnetic field in a surrounding at any point due to a current carrying wire. Okay, so that I'm not going to write. Okay, so just to understand that it is a law which will give me the value of magnetic field at a point due to a current carrying wire. Now it doesn't matter how the wire is it a straight wire, is it a curved wire, whatever it is. Okay, this law is used for that. Okay, now let us start this Biot-Savart's law. Suppose if I'm having a long conductor, okay, I'm having a long conductor. Suppose this is a conductor, okay, which carries a current I. This is a current I. Okay. Now if I ask you, what is the magnetic field at this point P? This is a point P, and if I'm asking you what is a magnetic field at point P, okay, so magnetic field at point P we don't know because we have to see the equation for that. Okay, but can we tell the value, direction? Can we tell the direction of the magnetic field over here? Yes, can we tell the direction of the magnetic field over here? So using right hand thumb rule, okay, if you hold this conductor in your right hand, okay, as a grip, so what you will find that your knuckles will be pointing towards this point, inward. Okay, so it will be inward. Okay, like this. So magnetic field B at point P will be going inside. Understood? Now what I have to assume now, I will consider a element. I will consider a element. I have considered this element. Okay, I have considered this element, this element. Okay, this is our element now. So what I'm going to do from here, okay, I'm considering the position vector of this point P. I'm considering the position vector of that point P. Okay, so this is position vector. This is current. The length of this section or the element, the length of part AB, the length of the part AB, okay, is DL, small length DL. Okay, the angle between these two, the DL and this, position vector is theta. What is the angle? Theta. So all the parameters are clear to everyone. All the parameters are clear to everyone. Okay. Now, this AB is called as the current element. AB, okay. AB is called as current element. Current element. Now, this current element is a vector quantity. It is a vector quantity. Okay. It is a vector quantity. Understood? It is not a scalar quantity. It is a vector quantity. What will be its direction then? What will be its direction? It will be along the direction of the current. Okay. Direction will be along the current. Direction is along current. Okay. Direction is along current. This much is clear to everyone. Is anybody having any doubt till now? Is there anyone who is having any kind of doubt? Is there anyone who is having any kind of doubt in this now? Nobody is having. Now the magnetic field, the small magnetic field due to the small element. Okay. The small magnetic field. What will I write? dB. Okay. So a small magnetic field due to element. Okay. What will I write? dB. Okay. dB. This dB is actually directly proportional. This dB is directly proportional to IDL, where DL is a vector quantity. It is directly proportional to IDL, okay, where DL is the vector quantity. This dB is also directly proportional. This dB is also directly proportional to sine of theta. Okay, it is directly proportional to the sine of theta. Also, this dB is directly inversely proportional to the R square. Okay, R square. Now, if I combine all these three equations, okay, so this dB will become, what does this dB becomes now? It will be written as mu naught upon 4 pi, because that's the constant, mu naught upon 4 pi into IDL, okay, sine theta divided by R square. This is what we are getting. Okay, this is what we will be getting. Is it clear to everyone? So this is the magnetic field at point P due to the small element. It is due to the small element. Okay. Now for complete wire, what we will do? We will integrate this dB with respect to length. Okay. So this is the important equation. This is I'm calling as equation number 1. Okay. And this is only our main equation. This is the only main equation. Okay. This is only our main equation, Biot-Savart's law. So if in exam they ask you what is Biot-Savart's law, so you have to explain it like that. Okay, you have to explain it like that. So what is IDL? IDL is the current element, which is a vector quantity. Its direction will be along the current. Okay, the angle theta, you just see what is angle theta. Angle theta is the angle between position vector and DL vector. So DL vector, if you see, it will be in this direction. It will be in this direction. Okay. This green color line is showing us IDL vector. This is showing us IDL vector. And the angle between them is only theta. What is R? R is the distance between the point and the current element. Okay, now we will integrate it. We will integrate this equation for this complete wire and get the value of total magnetic field at that point. Okay, so this is Biot-Savart's law. This is Biot-Savart's law. If I want to write this Biot-Savart's law in the form of vector, okay, if I want to write this Biot-Savart's law in the form of vector, so what will I do now? Like yesterday, okay, yesterday what you did, q v, okay, q v cross r vector. Okay, so like that only, also here only also you'll do that b vector. Okay, this b vector, how we will be writing, it will be mu naught. Okay, it will become mu naught divided by 4 pi I within bracket dl vector into r vector divided by rq. This is in the form of vector. This is in vector form. Okay, this is in vector form. This is vector form. So I hope everybody has understood this. Okay, I hope everybody has understood this point. Okay, that what is Biot-Savart's law, what is current element, okay, what is the angle from where you will take, and how will you write that magnetic field equation in terms of a vector. Okay, how will you write this magnetic field in terms of a vector. Okay, now we are going to find out the result for the straight wire. Okay, with this we are only getting for an element. With this we are only getting for an element. We are not getting for a complete wire. For complete wire, remember, you have to integrate and get the result. For complete wire, you are supposed to integrate and get the results. Okay, so that only we are going to do now. That only we are going to do now. Okay, I'm going to integrate it. I'm going to integrate for a straight wire. Okay, so now our topic is magnetic field due to a finite straight wire. Okay, magnetic field due to finite straight wire. So this law we are going to apply in the straight wire and we'll try to calculate this completely. Okay, so just focus. Okay, this is a very important topic. You will have a question, so definitely this will be a part of it. Okay, definitely this will be a part of it if they're asking how the magnetic field let up. Okay, so for this we have to consider a current wire. We have to consider a wire. Okay, so suppose this is a wire. Okay, this is a wire, and at this point I'm supposed to calculate the magnetic field at this point. Okay, at this very point I'm supposed to calculate the magnetic field now. Is it okay? So I'm having a wire AB. We are having a wire AB. Okay, we are supposed to calculate the magnetic field at the point P. Direction, I can tell you now itself that it will be inward if the current moves from A to B. If the current moves from A to B, the direction of the magnetic field at point P will be as shown. Okay, so this is suppose I. Okay, I. Now, what you have to do, first thing, you have to draw the perpendicular to the wire from the point P. What you will do? A perpendicular, you have to draw a perpendicular from point P to this wire. Like this, perpendicular distance you have to calculate. So this is a perpendicular distance R. Understood? First thing what you will do, you will just find out the perpendicular distance of this point P from the wire. This should be your first step. After that, this wire, if you see, okay, I'm connect this end, the end A of the wire, I'm connecting it to point P, and end B of the wire I'm connecting to the point P, like that. Okay. Now I'm calculating the angle. Now I'm measuring the angles, and this angle, I'm zoom this figure. Okay. It will be much clear then. I'm taking this angle as phi 1. Okay. I'm taking this angle as phi 1 and this angle as phi 2. This angle as phi 2. Is it okay? So the 1 and A substance angle phi 1 at point P and point B, okay, and B of the wire substance phi 2 angle at point P. Now just see from where we have taken our line. We have taken our angle, sorry, from where we have taken the angles. We are calculating the angles from that center line, okay? This R, we are taking our angles from this line, okay? So this is our center line actually, okay? This is our reference line or center line, you can say. This is only our center line or reference line. Fine. So till now what we have done, we had a wire AB. The current was moving from A to B. At point P, I am supposed to calculate the magnetic field. So first thing what I'll do, I'll calculate the distance of the point P from the wire. So which distance you will have to calculate? Perpendicular distance you will have to calculate. And perpendicular distance is only one. So you don't have to worry about that. That which length actually. So it is the shortest length between the wire and the point. This is the first thing that you will do. Okay. The second thing what you will do, you have to see what angle A and B, these are the two ends of the wire. What are the angles subtended by the ends of the wire at point P? What are the angles? What are the angles subtended by the point A and point B? These point A and B are what? These point A and B are at the ends of the wire. Okay. So end A and end B subtends angle phi 1 and phi 2 at point P. I guess this much is very clear to everyone. Okay. Now we have to consider the current element, because for complete wire we don't know anything. Okay. We don't have an equation for complete wire so that I can write down the equation. We cannot write it. But for a current element, I know. For a current element, okay, for a small current element, I know the result. What is the result for a small current element? Correct. So I'm assuming a current element now. I will be assuming a current element. So my current element is this. See here. My current element is this. Okay. This is having a length DL. Length is DL. Okay. Length is DL. The length of this current element is DL. Now you have to see what angle this substance at point P. What angle this substance at point P. Okay. So this substance, what angle at point P, you have to calculate that. Okay. Like this. So I'm taking this angle. Okay. I'm taking this angle. Can you see this? I am taking this angle as D phi. I'm taking this angle as D phi. Understood? I'm taking this angle as D phi. And what is phi 1 and phi 2? What is phi 1 and phi 2? Phi 1 and phi 2 are the angles. Phi 1 and phi 2 are the angles subtended by these two ends. So let me draw this with the green color itself. Okay. Okay. Now it must be very clear. Phi 1 and phi 2 are the angles. Okay. D phi is the angle subtended by the current element at the point. Okay. One more thing you have to consider for writing the equation, which is R, the position vector. Okay. What you have to consider? The position vector. So this is my position vector, suppose. Okay. Along this line only, we are having a position vector. Along this line only, I am having a position vector. Okay. Along this line only, we are having a position vector. Is it okay? So this is R. This is R. Okay. R vector. Now this R vector subtends an angle phi with the center line. This angle R subtends phi angle with the center line. Okay. Now tell me if anybody who can't understand in this. Yes. Is there anyone who is having any doubt in here now? I'll be writing what all things these points are. What is the small r? Small r is this position vector. Small r is this position vector. For writing the equation, we should have position vector also, na? See, in this equation, I should be having I should be having dl, I should be having sine theta, and then r. What is r over here? R is the position vector. Position vector of a current element from that point. Okay. So that is r. That is r. Okay. So I'll write everything. Don't worry. I'll write everything that what thing are these. Okay. So this current element. Okay. The current element over here. Okay. DL is the length of the current element. Okay. Length of current element. Length of current element. And what is its direction? Its direction is towards y-axis. Like this. Its direction. If I want to draw the direction of this DL vector, so it will be like this. DL vector has a direction this. Okay, this is the direction of DL vector. Okay. Then what is phi 1 and phi 2? What is phi 1 and phi 2? Phi 1 and phi 2 are angles subtended by two ends of wire at point P. Okay. So these are the angles subtended by two ends of wire at point P. Okay. What is d phi now? What is d phi? D phi is the angle subtended by the current element at P. Okay. Angle subtended by current element at P. Fine. What is R? That's the position vector. Okay, that's the position vector. And what is capital R? Capital R is the perpendicular distance of the wire from point P. Okay, capital R is the perpendicular distance of wire from point P. So that also, if I'm writing, it is perpendicular distance of wire from point P. Okay, so these are the values. These are the values now. Okay. Now, so I cannot write the equation directly for the complete wire. I cannot write the equation for magnetic field for the complete wire, but can I write for the small current element? Yes. Can I write the magnetic field for a small current element? Okay. So magnetic field due to current element. So magnetic field due to current element. Okay. At P point. At point P. So what I'll be writing? dB is equals to. So if you remember that equation just now what we have studied, so dB is written as mu naught upon 4 pi, okay, I dl sine theta into r divided by r square. Okay, So mu naught upon 4 pi is a constant. Mu naught upon 4 pi is a constant. I is the current. DL is the current element. From where will I take sine theta? Where will I take sine theta? Yes. Where will I take sine theta? So sine theta is the angle between DL and R vector. Yes. Sine theta or theta is the angle between DL vector and R vector. So R vector is shown by this line. R vector is this line. Okay. R vector is this line. And DL vector is this line. So the angle between them will be what? Theta. Do you understand? See here. DL vector is this. DL vector is this. And R vector is this. So the angle between these two, is this one. So this angle is theta now. This angle is theta. Okay. So this angle is theta now. So sine of theta divided by R square. Okay. This is my equation number 1. This is my equation number 1. Okay. Now, can anybody tell me how many unknowns do we have? In this equation, how many unknowns do we have? Can anyone tell me how many unknowns do we have in this equation? Suppose if I want to integrate, to calculate for the complete wire, so I have considered DL length. Okay. So do you think that if I integrate this magnetic field, okay, and on left hand side and right hand side, if I integrate DL, will I get the equation? Yes. If I integrate this equation, okay, with respect to DL, so what will be the length? Suppose the length of the wire is L. Will you get the correct equation? Yes. I can see your chat. You can write. Okay. So you are saying that if I give you the length of the wire as L, you will integrate DL and get the value. It's not correct. It's wrong. Why it is wrong? Because you don't have only DL as a variable here. You are having DL as a variable. You have R as a variable. You have theta as a variable. How these things are variable, just see here. Okay, how these things are variable, I'll just show you over here. Pay attention to this point. Okay, see this. Suppose if I take this current element over here, suppose if I take, instead of taking it here, suppose it happens that I'm taking the current elements here between this part to this part. Correct? I'm taking the current element here. Now, don't you think that the position vector will change now? Don't you think that the position vector will change? It will definitely change. Okay. Suppose if you have this condition, if you take a element here, so this angle will be different. Okay. If I take an element here, this angle will be different. See, the angles are same or different. So if you change the position, this current element, okay. So what is happening? This theta is also changing. Yes or no? If I take the current element this, so this is the angle now. This is the angle. If I take the current element over here, so this is the theta. So which angle is greater, this one or this one? This one is greater than this. So theta is also a variable. DL is also a variable. Yes. What about R? What about small r? Just see here. This is the distance of this element from this point P. Okay. This R2 is the position vector of this point. So are these same or they are different? R1 and R2, are these same or different? Yes. Are these R1 and R2 same or different? They are different. They are not same over here. Okay. So that's why I am saying we are having three unknowns here. One is DL, one is theta and one is r. So you cannot integrate with respect to dl alone because you have three unknowns here, three variables here. So now what should be your aim? What should be your aim? Your aim should be to convert everything in one variable. Your aim should be to change everything in one variable and then you integrate it. Okay. So now we are going to do that only. We are trying to change all these three variables. Okay. And we are going to reduce this into one variable. Okay. So I'm writing it here that these are not constant values. These are variable. Okay. So dl, theta and r vector. Okay. These are variables. Okay. So we cannot integrate. So we can't integrate. So we can't integrate directly with respect to DL. Okay, with respect to DL, you can't integrate it directly. Why? Because these are variables. Why these are variables? I have already told you. Okay. So what we should do now? I have to convert this in one variable. I have to convert this in one variable now. Correct? Fine. So we are going to do that only now. We are going to do that only now. Okay. Okay. So just see here now. This was angle theta. Okay. This was angle theta over here. Okay. Now suppose if I draw a perpendicular line like this. If I draw a perpendicular line, can you see that perpendicular line drawn? Yes. This is the perpendicular line, suppose. Okay. This is the perpendicular line. Okay. So I'm taking this triangle outside. I'm taking this triangle outside. You just see here. I'm taking this triangle outside. I'm taking this triangle outside. So this triangle is basically X, Y, and suppose this is Z. Suppose this is Z. Okay. So I'm taking this triangle outside. So it will be looking like somewhat like this. Okay. It will look somewhat like this. This is X. This is Z. This is Z. And this is Y. This is theta. And this is 90 degree. See this? What is this XZ length? Just see here. What is XZ? XZ is DL. Is this XZ DL? Yes. What is sine theta now? What is sine theta now here? Yes. What is sine theta over here? Tell me. What is sine theta over here? Sine theta in this small triangle. XY by DL. Good. It is XY by DL. Okay. So can I write XY as DL into sine of theta? Yes. Can I write XY as DL into sine theta? Okay. So this is equation number 2 now, suppose. This is suppose equation number 2. So now substituting, now putting 2 in, putting 2 in 1. We have, what will I get now? See here. dB is equals to mu naught upon 4 pi. Okay. I dl sine theta. We had dl sine theta divided by r square. Now instead of dl sine theta, what I can write? I can write it as mu naught upon 4 pi I x y divided by r square. This is equation 3 now. Okay. This is my equation number 3 now. Is it clear? Okay. Is it clear to everyone? Fine. Now, still this is not done. Still this is not done. Still I'm having r square and xy. Xy value I don't know. What is xy? I don't know. Still you are having two unknowns. R square, xy. So how many unknowns or variables you are having? xy and r square both are, okay, xy and r both are variables. So still you can't integrate, okay. So again I have to convert xy now, okay. So just see this figure again, just see this figure again, just see this figure again. Okay, just see this figure again. Okay, now can you see this? Are you able to visualize this one, what I'm drawing, what I'm highlighting? Can you see this triangle? Can you see this triangle? Yes, the angle d phi, the angle d phi, okay. So this triangle is somewhat like this, if you can see it. So this will be looking like this, okay. This is x, this is y, this is perpendicular, okay, and this is d phi, this is d phi, this is d phi. Yes or no? Now this element is small or very large? This element is small or very large? Tell me. Is this element over here, this element over here, is small or very large? This element, okay, is small or very large? This is very small element. And if this is a small element, so can I say, if this is a very small element, can I say that zy or zp is nothing but similar to yp? If zxz very small, very small, can I say it like that? Just see, can I say it like that, that if zxz is very small, zp and yp, they both are same, okay. I can write it like that, similar, almost same, okay. Now this is equal to what? This is equal to r. This is equal to r. Now in this triangle, okay, what will be arc length? Arc length, arc length, that is xy. How can I write that? Can I write it as r into d phi? Can I write xy as an arc length? Yes, I will consider that as a part of a circle, part of a small circle, okay. I'll consider xy as a part of a small circle, and I can write as arc length is equals to r into d phi, r into d phi. Yes, I'll write that as a r into d phi, okay. So this is my equation number 4 now. This is my equation number 4 now, okay. So substituting 4 in 3, so putting 4 in 3. So what is the value of equation number 3? So this was equation number 3 now, okay. This is equation number 3. I have to substitute this. I have to substitute it as xy. I will put db as now it will become mu naught upon 4 pi, okay, I r d phi divided by r square. So this r and this r will get cancelled. So finally you will be having db is equals to mu naught 4 pi I d phi by r. This is suppose equation number 5. This is my equation number 5 now. Okay. So still if you see d phi and r, they both are variable. Okay. In this equation, d phi and r both are variable. Still you can't integrate. D phi and r both are variable. Both are variable. You can't integrate still. You will not be able to integrate now also. You will not be able to integrate now also. Okay. So now what we will do, just see. Now what we are going to do, just see now. Can you see this triangle? Can you see this triangle? This is R, this is P, okay, and this is Z, okay, and this one is phi. This value is R. Are you able to see this triangle? Yes. Are you able to see this triangle from this figure? Okay. So in this figure, what is cos phi? What is the value of cos phi? What can you write it? Can I write it as capital R by small r? Yes. So 1 by R, I can write as cos of phi by small capital R, small cos of phi by capital R. Okay. This is the value of 1 by R. So let us assume this as equation number 6. Now substituting 1 by R, just see here what you are having. 1 by R you are having 1 by R. So 1 by R you will substitute from here. Okay. So putting equation 6 in equation 5. Okay. So what you had in equation 5, I had mu naught upon 4 pi. Okay. I had I d phi by R. Instead of 1 by R, I'll substitute 6. So I'll be writing it as mu naught upon 4 pi I. Okay. 1 by R becomes cos phi into d phi by R. Okay. So now I'm having dB is equals to mu naught upon 4 pi I by R cos of phi d phi. This is my equation number 7. Now you see how many variables we are having. Now you see how many variables are we having. See here, mu naught upon 4 pi is a constant. Mu naught upon 4 pi is a constant. I is a constant. Capital R is the smallest distance. Okay, so that will be also a constant. Now you are having only one variable cos phi, and now you can integrate this equation to get the value of magnetic field at point P. Okay, do you understand this? Anybody is having any doubt up to equation number 7? Is there anyone having any doubt in equation number 7? So what we have done till now, before integration, I'll explain you. I'll just quickly tell everything. Okay. So I guess nobody is having any doubt with this part. Okay. I think nobody is having doubt with this important terms over here. Okay. What is DL? What is phi 1? What is phi 2? Okay. What is D phi? What is R? Nobody is having doubt with this. Okay. Now we can write the small magnetic field value due to current element. Due to complete wire, due to long wire, you don't know the value. Okay. You for a complete wire, you don't know the value. You only know the value for a small element using Biot-Sievert law. Okay. So Biot-Sievert law is not applicable directly. That equation what you have written is not directly applicable for the complete wire. Okay. It is only applicable for a current element, a small element. So we have assumed a small element of dl length, and we have tried to calculate the small magnetic field at point P. Okay. So that small magnetic field at point P is calculated. Fine. Now, if I think that yes, dl is there, and now if I integrate for complete length of the wire, I'll get the value. So you are wrong. So if I think like that, I am wrong. Why am I wrong over there? Because dl is a variable. DL is changing. Okay. Sin theta value will change as well as R value is changing. So I cannot integrate it directly. I cannot integrate DL and say L is the length of the wire. So it will become mu naught by 4 pi IL sin theta by R square. That's a wrong thing. That's absolutely wrong. You cannot do that. Okay. So then what I am supposed to do? I will reduce all the three variables. I'll reduce all the three variables into any one. Okay. So I have chosen for phi. You can do for anything. You can use theta also. You can use for DL also. You can use for R also. Whichever is easy for you. Okay. But calculating in terms of phi is the easiest one. Calculating in terms of phi is the easiest. Okay. So what we have tried to do now, we have tried to convert this DL, theta as well as small r in terms of phi, and then we are trying to integrate it. Okay. So mathematics, doing all those mathematics, we have finally reached to this point number 7, equation number 7. Okay. Now one small question I am going to ask you people. Okay, one small question I'm going to ask you people. That clockwise angle, if I measure, is it taken as a positive value or negative value? If I consider clockwise angle, is it considered positive or negative? Clockwise angle is positive or negative? If I measure clockwise angle, is it positive angle or negative angle then? How do you measure the angles? Yes. If this is 30°, so this is clockwise or anti-clockwise? This is clockwise or anti-clockwise? This is anti-clockwise. So anti-clockwise angles are considered to be negative. Anti-clockwise angles are negative, while clockwise angles are positive. Clockwise angles are positive. Anti-clockwise angles are, sorry, clockwise angles are negative. Anti-clockwise angles are positive. Okay. Now we had this wire. Okay. This was the point P, and this is our central line. This is our central line R. Okay. Now phi 1, okay, phi 1 like this is measured, and phi 2 is measured like this. So phi 1 is clockwise or phi 2 is clockwise? If you see, phi 2 is clockwise, phi 1 is anti-clockwise. Phi 2 is clockwise and phi 1 is anti-clockwise. So this angle will be written as with minus sign, and this angle will be written with plus sign. During integration, phi 2 has to be written with negative sign and phi 1 has to be written as positive sign. Why? Because of the clockwise and anti-clockwise direction. Okay. So you have to take that. You have to do that. Okay. Now, integrating for complete wire, I'll be getting B. Okay. Mu naught I upon 4 pi r is constant. I have taken outside. Cos phi, if I integrate, I'll be getting sine of phi. Okay. Now positive, negative to positive, so minus of phi 2 to plus of phi 1. Okay. Now you just put the values. Okay. Lower limits and upper limits you substitute and just see what result we are getting. What result I am getting here? Sine of phi 1 minus of minus it will become. Okay. So minus of minus, this gives me plus sine phi. So due to complete wire, okay, a straight finite wire, the magnetic field due to that wire at point P, okay, is given by equation number 8. Just see this equation. Mu naught I upon 4 pi r within bracket sine phi 1 plus sine of phi 2. Sine phi 1 plus sine phi 2. Okay, this is the magnetic field at point P due to a straight wire. Due to a straight wire, this is the magnetic field at a point. Okay. Now, suppose if this is phi 1 and phi 2, if I consider this as theta 1, okay, and this one I consider, sorry, not theta 1, alpha I'll consider. This is suppose alpha 1, and this is suppose alpha 2. Okay, how sine theta came? Integration of cos theta. Integration of cos theta is sine theta. Okay, integration of cos theta is sine theta. From there sine theta came. Now, how can you write this value? How can you write alpha 1? Can I write alpha 1 as 90 minus phi 1, as well as alpha 2 as 90 minus phi 2? In their respective triangles, can I write alpha 1 as 90 minus phi 1 and alpha 2 as 90 minus phi 2? Okay, I can write it that way also. So this equation, if I am substituting, okay, phi 1 and phi 2. So phi 1 value will become what? What will be the phi 1 value now? What will be phi 1 value? 90 minus alpha 1. What will be phi 2 value? It will be 90 minus alpha 2. So I'm substituting that value over here. Mu naught I upon 4 pi r sine of phi 1. So sine 90 minus alpha 1 plus sine 90 minus alpha 2. What you will get now? What is sine 90 minus theta? What is sine 90 minus theta? What is sine 90 minus theta? Anyone? What is sine 90 minus theta? Cos theta. So you are having now cos of alpha 1 plus cos of alpha 2. So this is the equation number 9. Okay. This is equation number 9. Why I have derived this equation? Just try to understand. Why I have derived this equation in terms of cos? Just try to understand that. Suppose if this is the wire and this is the point where I have to calculate. Now suppose if I'm given with these angles, I'm given with these angles, phi 1 and phi 2. If I'm given with phi 1 and phi 2, what relation I'll use? What relation I will use? Yes? Which relation I'll use? Equation 8. Equation 8. Equation 8 for this. Okay? If I have this angles given in the question, if I have these angles given, this one as alpha 2, this one as alpha 1. So which equation I'll be using? Which equation I can use directly? 9th equation. That's why I have derived the both. Okay. Okay. So if this is the condition, okay, phi 1 and phi 2 is given. If phi 1 and phi 2 are given, I can use the equation 8. If alpha 1 alpha 2 are given, I can use equation number 9. Okay. So I'll give you the slides now. Okay. If anybody is having any doubt, you ask. If anybody is having any doubt, you ask. Tomorrow we will continue the discussion from here itself. It is still not completed. Okay. Though the final equation we have derived, we have to see the special cases now. In this, we have to see the special cases. Okay. Do it fast. I have to give you the solutions of the current electricity also. So do it fast. Meanwhile, if anybody is having any doubt, you can ask. Meanwhile, if anybody is having any kind of doubt in this, okay, you can ask. Today having